So, hello, everyone out there. Welcome back to the podcast. It's Ajay here and my special guest, Stephanie Lowe. I pronounced that right, Stephanie?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Great, great. So, as always, Real Talk, we're about just shedding light on real estate professionals. This podcast is a little bit different because we're here to talk about Black History Month and just highlighting some key figures in our industry in hopes of you watching this to get some inspiration. So without further ado, Stephanie, how's it going?
Very, very good, Ajay. It's awesome to be here. I think this is an amazing platform that you've started, and I'm happy to be here.
Super, super excited for you. So I know you're just at a conference, right? You're just here from a conference?
Yes,
Tell
that's
me about
right.
that.
Yeah. All right. So I focus a lot in pre-construction real estate. Every so often we have broker launches when there's a new projects or a new series of projects coming up. So I'm here in Burlington right now, and we're seeing what's in the pipeline for 2023, and kind of discussing some of what's happening in the market and how to get them tools and information to extend to clients so they can be successful in real estate. So that's what I'm doing here
Perfect.
today.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's the hustle of real estate
Yes.
agents. We're always doing something somewhere, right? So that's
Yes.
great. That's great. I'm glad you're doing that. So
Thank
I
you.
kind of, we don't really know each other.
Yeah.
We've never met. It's first time kind of you and I are connecting. So, but I did reach out to you because I'm like, hey, Stephanie's doing a lot of great things. I follow you on social media, and you are a Black woman that is successful. So I wanted to bring that to light and kind of give us your backstory. So how long have you been in real estate?
I've been in real estate somewhere between 7 and 8 years. My son is 6, so I always count it from like him. I was studying for my real estate license while I was pregnant with him, so that was a
Oh,
lot.
wow.
Yeah.
So he's getting some knowledge even before he was born.
Yeah, I have pictures of him just as a baby at all the builder sites, me doing videos on pre-construction sites with my big prego baby
Belly.
belly, and yeah. I'm also really into like yoga and health and wellness, and I have him doing a down dog on a like on top of a presentation table at a builder's office, and I was like, oh, my son, like embodying all that I am. I thought it was kind of
Wow.
cute. So yeah,
Wow.
he's in it.
So yeah, so that's great. We're gonna get into a little bit more of your hobbies after as well. So thanks for giving us a preview on that. So
Cool.
yes, so you've been in real estate. You started out. What did you do before? Like, what about kind of upbringing wise? Were you
Sure.
always interested in kind of this sales environment?
Not at all. Not at all, actually. Um,
None of us are ever.
no, I was kind of, my parents just sort of really instilled in us more of like the traditional route of things. Study, do good in school, have your extracurriculars, that's great, but like very education based. So I went to school for kinesiology and psychology. I'm actually still finishing my PhD in psychology, and yeah, I just kind of went that route. So prior to real estate, I still am, a registered kinesiologist, and I had a wellness center.
Wow.
And so I have been in the fitness industry for probably 15, 16, 17 years, something like that. And yeah, I ran a wellness center, and we did yoga, did personal training, helped people who had car accidents and catastrophic cases, and a lot of rehabilitation focused stuff. So that was my life previous to real estate.
Got it. Got it. So
Yeah.
so why? I mean, this is great. So why did you decide to follow that path? Like what really sparked it? What were your interests as a kid? Like what were
Cool.
you doing? Were you
I
the
was playing
class
sports.
nerd or you seem like a little bit of a nerdy type. So I know you're super smart.
Thank you. Yeah, I always tell everybody that I'm a major nerd. I am. I love to study. I love sciences and research. So sometimes even when I'm talking to my clients, I know that I'm like statistics like overload with some of my
Yes,
facts
yes.
sometimes when I'm sharing things, but that's just my background. So yeah, just growing up, I was really involved in sports, basketball, track and field, running around with the boys, kind of doing sports and stuff that way. So a bit of a tomboy. And that's what kind of led me into kinesiology, just because I really loved health and fitness and wellness and stuff. So that's what I was doing. That's what I was
Good.
into. Yeah.
So now, so you got it. So why did you even get into real estate? Why don't you just, you make so much more money, like maybe elsewhere, or was it about the money for you? Like really?
Yeah, you know what? That's a really great question. Um, it was actually something that where I was working hours and hours and hours in my wellness center. And like I said, I still love it. It's still a huge passion that I've kind of wrapped into what I do now.
Yeah.
But I was sitting here looking at everything and I was like, I'm self-employed. What happens when I want to retire? What happens if I get injured? What about, as much as I love all my clients to death and I give 100% of myself in my business, but like, I might want to start a family someday and what does that look like? And, you know, I just kind of started looking at the long term of things.
Right.
And I was renting a space from some folks who owned a big piece of land, and their house was at the back, and they rented out the front to a couple of like health wellness businesses. And I thought, wow, that's like really smart. Every month we're like paying their mortgage. They have this property. I think at some point, actually, they were looking to sell and move somewhere hot, and I was quite intrigued by that
Right.
idea. And I just, yeah, the opportunity came up to get into real estate and start learning just a different thing. And, like I said, I'm just kind of that book nerd. And I thought, well, let me like learn a little bit more about finances. My family, like my parents never really talked to us too much about finances and investing and that side of things. It was more like make sure you pay your bills on time. Once you graduate school, you're gonna, find your person, get married, buy a house, pay off your mortgage,
Yes.
retire, and that sort of thing. So yeah, I was kind of into the non-traditional route of things, and I just had to look at what do my options look like. So as I started to learn more about real estate and real estate investing, I was like, oh, how about instead of me paying rent where I'm teaching my students, why don't I own a studio myself and I can leverage that? And why just buy one house when I can buy five houses? And why not,
Right.
like, and how to like leverage. And so I had owned one condo. I had bought my first condo when I was 25, and I ended up selling that and reinvesting into a multi-unit home.
Wow.
And it just kind of took off from there, my passion for real estate. And I just got to really talk to people like from a different perspective. That's why I really love investing, because I get to really educate folks and show them different opportunities and different ways of seeing things that maybe no one had these conversations with them and no one told them that there's other options or other ways of doing things. So yeah, I was just really inspired by what I was learning, and yeah, that's how
I
I
love
kind of
that.
shifted.
I love
Yeah.
that. You're kind of like pioneering yourself. Now, I want to go back because you mentioned about your parents and your upbringing.
Yeah.
So, how was that? Like, where are they from? And kind of give me a little background, country wise. Put me on the map here.
Cool. Okay.
I'm getting you out of your comfort zone. And for anyone watching this podcast, this is what we're about. Okay, putting realtors on the spot. Okay.
Cool, cool, cool. There's so much. There's so much we could talk about in this. But my father is from Jamaica,
Okay.
and my mother is Canadian. She's Black
Yeah.
Canadian, and we have
Right.
Native heritage. So many of
Okay.
us have like Métis status here in Canada.
Yeah.
So it was interesting where I grew up. I grew up in Cambridge, Ontario, and at the time when I was in Cambridge, it was not very diverse at all. So from a young age, I've always had a very strong awareness that I was Black and I was different than the people around me.
Yeah.
And they weren't always so nice about it, for sure. Like one of my earliest memories is some little boy spitting on me and calling me the N word. And,
Oh my God.
just that's the kind of
Yeah.
stuff that I grew up with. And it was kind of hard. It was hard as I got into business to get over some of those I guess I don't know what to call it. I don't mean to call it stereotypes, but just like within myself, feeling less than others
Yeah.
because I have been, that's kind of what has been shown to me or my experiences over time. And I had to get past that in business from saying, oh, like people aren't going to want to work with me because I'm Black, or people aren't going to want to work with me because I'm a Black female, even more so,
Right.
and these kind of things. And there was for sure clients in my previous business who were like, oh, we don't want you and your partner to come like into our house because you guys are Black. Like
They
that
told you that. They told you
that
that flat
actually
out.
happened. Yeah, that actually happened.
What
So,
the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
Because you might
Tiffany.
not tell if you couldn't see me. If I was just talking, you might not know that I'm a black woman. So that was,
No, yeah, but then again, what does a black woman sound like, right? Like,
yeah,
what does that really sound like, right? Like
yeah,
anything. So you
yeah.
fought through that. So you fought
I,
through that, and was that really
yes,
a major issue? Because we're gonna press on this topic right now
yeah.
as we're talking about it. Was that really? And it's okay if it wasn't prominent,
Mhm.
but like, was that really an issue? You being a black woman trying to make it for yourself.
Yeah.
Were there any other roadblocks that you hit?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely was for sure. And it's even something today. And I'm really this is my yoga side, my psychology side. I really, really strongly believe that everything really comes down to like ourselves and our own mindset and our own perspectives. So, for sure, there are going to be people out there who don't want to listen to me because I'm a woman or because I'm a black woman. There's going to
Right.
be people out there who even like within the community of what is it? You're biracial, you're Caribbean, you're African, you're from here, you're from there, all that, right? They might
Yep.
want to talk to me, not want to talk to me because of the country that my father is from when they're from a different Caribbean country. Like,
Yes.
there's
Yes.
there's so much within it. It's so silly. But I had to kind of say everybody, there's going to be people out there who just don't like me for whatever reason. They don't like me because of my hair. They don't like
Yeah.
me because I'm not dark enough or I'm too dark or I'm from here or there. And I just had to
Yeah.
get over that. Right. And as much as there's going to be people who are not for me and who don't appreciate my cultural diversity and my cultural experience, there are people who are going to connect with me for the very same reasons. And I just had to decide that those were my people. Those are the people that I'm going to connect with. Those are the people that I'm going to serve, with all my heart and everything I have and kind of pour into them. And I just had to decide that. And any agent I'm sure that you talk to that is black has had some sort of
Yeah.
experience
Yeah.
of racism and stereotypes and it's even interesting sometimes we say within our community some communities really support each other and they will
Yeah.
choose to work with people their own, so to speak, right? Some people are very open and it doesn't matter and they'll appreciate you for who you are and what you know and your expertise. But some people are really caught up on that. And it's interesting sometimes within our community that people will choose others over they'll choose you. And it's
That's
just a
right.
really interesting hurdle that you have to break out of. But first, I think you have to you being aware of it, and like I said, being someone who grew up in the face of all those things, you have to decide whether you're going to put your own self in a box or whether you're just going to stay committed to your vision and who you are and just plow forward and say, this is who I am and I'm going to be true to myself.
So no, that's great. And that is like a testament, Stephanie, like, okay, you make your future. You are who you want to become.
Yeah.
So and fighting through that, I mean, and this is anyone watching this right now, like what advice would you give real estate agents, specifically black female real estate agents that are getting into the business? Like, what advice would you give them if they're experiencing this? I mean, we're diverse now,
Yeah.
GTA is diverse, but what does that even mean? Right? Even
Yeah.
there's so many levels of racism now. And yes, we're talking about that, guys. Like, we got to talk about this, right? So, like, what advice would you give someone watching this?
My advice would be to not be discouraged, first of all, to continue to pour into yourself in terms of going to trainings and getting out there and finding a mentor and connecting and like just being really, really true in perfecting your craft. Because
Yeah,
when you are good at what you do, people can't deny that. As much as they may not want to, if what you're offering is a good product and a good service, then it will come to you and you will get referrals and your business will grow. And it's not easy and you're going to face stuff that doesn't feel good, you know? But yeah, that would be my advice. Just continue to pour into yourself, be the best version of you, and just keep focused.
so, okay, great. Yeah. So, where you at? So, what are you going to do in terms of volume with your real estate business right now? What are you shaping up to be? Like, where did you start? What did you do last year? Give me a sense of like performance wise. So, anyone watching this and it's full out. What's Stephanie about?
That's a great question. It's obviously it's obviously been a growth. I started in a really small pre-construction focused brokerage, like a boutique brokerage, and I
Right.
and I love that. I love kind of being in those spaces a little bit more than others. So when I first started, I was very proactive and very committed to my business. So I tell people stories again with my baby in my arm and all that stuff. I would get into the car and I would drive out of the city and I was looking for good deals. Like I was always trying to find how can I sit down with a builder, make connections, and just have something amazing to offer to my clients. So I started doing that and I did really well in that first brokerage. And some people at the brokerage thought that I was being favored somehow. So that was like
Oh
first issue.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
that's
I
gonna
I was like, hey, no.
yeah.
Then I transitioned to a larger brokerage and I started getting like the little awards and it felt good. It was like really encouraging. And then just maybe just before COVID, I know everything is like marked by COVID before and after
I
now.
know, I know.
And I never actually thought I was gonna leave. I was at iPro, if I can say so. I never thought I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna leave them. I was really happy there. But I just connected with this group of ladies. I'm very, very much for my ladies. So I
right.
went to this women's group and I was like, oh, these ladies are cool. It was very diverse, like from age and different backgrounds and stuff like that. And the broker there was like really supportive and encouraging. So I had let her know I want to work a little bit more on like my image and my branding, so to speak, like who I
Yes.
am, kind of break out, so to speak. So I
Yeah.
went there and from there I became the top agent in the brokerage. So that has been really, really cool. That was
How
that
long
was an
sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. How long did that take to get the
oh,
top agent status?
um, I would say probably my second year.
Okay,
It just really, yeah, it just really, really took off and that was awesome. Yeah.
good.
So we'll see. I know this year they're gonna let us know. I think I did it again. We'll see.
All right,
But
all right. I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you. So as a woman now,
yeah.
what were some behaviors? What were some things that you were doing to become a top agent? Like that anyone watching this that wants to get inspired, because that's what we're about here, is like just give me some nuggets, something that you would say, or let's talk about mistakes that you made that you wish people wouldn't make or could avoid.
Oh, no. You know what?
How many?
I have, and they were painful mistakes to make. Um, my thing is paperwork. My weakness is paperwork.
Okay,
So this year I really have been working, and last year with my brokers to try to, strengthen that area. So I got an assistant, and that was the best thing. I was just like, this focus on your strengths. Know who you are. And I'm like, if I spend as much, as busy as I am, if I spend hours and hours doing monotonous paperwork. That's how I feel like it is, just repetitive stuff that I just like, ugh. I'm like, how am I gonna have time to be free and creative and connect with brokers and be at events like I'm at today to find,
yeah,
the best products and stuff for my clients and educate myself and be aware if I'm stuck behind a desk doing paperwork. It just didn't make sense to me. So
that's it.
and
You get
and yeah,
into
that's
real estate, right? And you don't realize you're an admin, you're a lawyer, you're an accountant, and all that other stuff. So
yes,
okay,
yes.
so what mistakes
So
did you make? I didn't hear it
um
yet. I hear a lot of smiling and laughing, but I didn't hear your mistakes yet. Let's hear it.
Yeah. You know what? It was just stuff in like documentation, just stuff within documentation. If I would have noted on this day this happened, on this day I advised this, and just
Right.
been a little bit more diligent with that, then I feel like I could have protected myself better just from little things. I did make one mistake because again, I'm very focused on my clients, right? So whatever my
Right.
clients want, I'm always backing them. And it was a long weekend. I was driving out. We had rented a place, me and my friend and all our kids and my mom, and we were driving out for the long weekend. And I put up the sign, like a for sale. I had sold the house and then it was going to be leased, and I had the sign up. And again, long weekend. I called the company to
Yeah.
come and change the sign over, and it was delayed somehow. And my client was meeting with his new potential tenants on the same day, and he didn't want me to take it down, or I don't know, it was like something like that. And another
Yeah.
agent came and was really angry because by the time he got there, my client had taken the key and he couldn't access the house to show it anymore. So
Oh,
he was like,
geez.
yeah, he was really mad. So that was it was a huge headache. And I tried to talk to him. My broker tried to talk to him, and he was just like, "You cost me time, and time is money." And da, 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 da. So
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
was a
yeah.
not. It wasn't. It was a really bad experience for me, but it was just a reminder to just have everything really diligently out in writing so that I can share the story of what happened and just kind of be on top of things. So that was my story.
Yeah, we always hear that, right? Like, and we make mistakes all the time, like contracts. You might miss this, but like at the end of the day, it's we're human, right? We're human, and we're gonna make
Yeah.
mistakes. So, what would you say? What was like the? Was there ever a point in your career as a real estate agent, Stephanie, that you're like, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm hanging up my license. Like, forget this. Because I know we all have that moment. I've had that moment several times, in my 7 years in real estate. So what
Yeah.
was that moment for you? Did you have one?
Yes, 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 I have.
Okay,
um,
tell me about it.
Um, again, like coming my history is in rehabilitation and yoga and things
Yeah.
like that. So I always felt like again, I'm very heart-centered and very client-centered. So when I'm working with my folks, I give like everything. I will like bend over backwards to make sure like all of their needs are met. But
Yes.
I found that that is probably not the best approach to always have in business. I just kind of I learned that really the hard way, and I was like,
Yeah.
I am like pouring my heart out for these people, and I just found that in some cases people just aren't loyal because they're just looking for the best deal, or they want to use three and four realtors at a time, and then like I would be like calling, okay, I found a listing for you, like early on, I'm so all excited, and
Yeah.
then like the
Yeah.
person's not calling me back. I'm like, they're ghosting me, like like what's happening. So I was just like, oh, this business is maybe not for me because I'm so so sensitive, and I care. Like I love my clients. I fall in love with all of them. Like I care so much, and I found like
Yeah.
maybe that was too much. So I had to kind of adjust and just come to find that in many cases business is just business, and again paperwork. So
Back to the
so
paperwork.
back to the paperwork again. So if you're going to work with a client, get them to sign the buyer's representation agreement,
Yeah.
explain to them about the nature of the relationship and how you're going to be pouring out everything you have for them. So if they want all the best deals and you driving so many hours to talk to whoever, like if you're going to be
Yeah.
doing this, giving up family time or whatnot, that it's a reciprocal relationship. So get your buyer's rep signed for sure. That was when I was just like, why am I even doing this? It really hit me.
And
So
there's so many agents, Stephanie, there's so many agents out there watching this that they're going to be watching this is like, you always experience clients that are going to ghost you, clients that don't even give a crap. They work with 10 other real estate agents and they'll promise you the world, I'm committed, and then they'll screw you in the end. Right. So I know you've gone through that. And it sounds like you've been through that a lot. So how do you avoid that? Like, what would you
um
suggest? What did you do to overcome that?
yeah, well, I had to stop being so soft. That was one thing.
Okay.
Not not
I
take things
couldn't
so
tell you were soft at all. Like, just
yeah, not take things so personally, really. That
yeah,
was one. And like I said, I just had to get in the practice of doing the paperwork and
yeah,
and being bold and not being afraid to say, "Hey, I have like a little story. I was
yeah,
working with someone. I used to do these like open houses, and I would do them to meet and talk to new clients. Love doing it. I'm getting back into the habit of doing it now that we can.
yeah,
And so one day this guy came into the open house, and we're talking, and I'm like nurturing him and like teaching him all the steps we need to do to get into his first property. And I was like so excited. I'm always excited for the work with first time buyers because it's such an accomplishment. Like it's awesome,
yes,
and they're
yeah,
so excited about it. So I was like right there with him, and we're driving around looking at houses. And it was like, let's say it's like a 4 month period, okay? So I take him out to Hamilton, him and his wife, and we're looking at properties, and we find one that he really likes, and we're like, okay, like have a good day. We're saying goodbye, and I'm walking to
yeah.
my car, and he's getting into the car, and he turns around and he looks at me, and he's like, Stephanie, I just want you to know that I am not working with any other realtor but you. And
Bullshit.
I'm like, okay. Like
Yeah,
I walked away like, why did he even bother to say that? Of course he's not working with anybody else. And
yeah,
I how you use your network, right? So I connected him to my mortgage broker. My mortgage broker calls me like the next day as I'm following up, like, oh, like what did you guys think of that property? Do you want to put in an offer? My mortgage broker calls me, he's like, Steph, the client submitted an offer, but your name is not on the paperwork.
No way.
What?
What the?
It's like, what? I'm like, I showed the client the property. I've been working with them for months and months and months. How
Yeah,
could they find this house and put in an offer with another agent? I was like, oh.
yeah,
So that was like a wake up paperwork again,
yeah.
a wake up call, and a just, yeah, I just had to say, like, if you're going to be putting all this into the client, just be clear of your expectations and theirs. And it's okay if someone doesn't want to commit to working with you. Put your time and attention into the clients who are, who value you,
That's right.
because you're going to develop those relationships and you'll keep growing that way. So
So, what would
yeah,
you
that was
say? And being someone of color myself, what would you say your client base is right now? Is it majority colored? Is it more like what would that shape out to be?
yeah, the majority of my clients are folks of color.
Right.
Not only that, but that is definitely the majority. And that's okay. I'm happy to serve my community and connect them and educate and that kind of things. I do different events in churches sometimes, and I am a member of a lot of like communities on Facebook that are focused on like Black agents or Black Community Toronto and these
Yeah.
different things, Black Queens of Durham. There's like a lot of groups that are just focused on with like feeding back into our community. So I've always tried to post videos and share informations and just inspire folks, like I said, to just look at things in a different way. And I think because I probably pour so much into those type of communities that I tend to get a lot of clients and referrals back that way. But I I'm open, obviously, to work with everybody. Anybody that I can help and pour into is good. So, but
I
yeah,
love
that's the
that. And
majority.
that the fact that you're networking, like find your niche, guys. Anyone watching this, just find your
Yeah,
niche, find your tribe, right? And then your tribe will
yeah,
follow. So it's kind of it's good to hear that, Stephanie. Now, anyone else? So if there was something that you can say, like a challenge that you faced dealing with, let's put it financial issues. So we're making commission, we're chasing the next deal. Some months we don't get paid, right? So was there anything that you experienced? Because I know personally, going through it, there's months sometimes you're not getting paid, and especially when
yeah.
the pandemic hit. But the
Yeah.
pandemic months were the strongest months for most people, right? So what would you say was your kind of downturn with that? Was there any point?
For sure. I do pre-construction, right? That's a large portion of my business. So pre-construction, sometimes you're not getting paid for 2 years as it is. So, I think I'm kind of used to that. That's how I started in the industry. So I
Right.
have a tolerance and a patience and understanding for that.
Yeah.
What's funny is sometimes people joke and say, "Oh, you're a realtor, so you're rich and you get those big paychecks." I'm
Yes.
like, "No, that
Yes.
this big
It's
paycheck isn't
such
coming for like 4 months,
it's
3 months,
it's
or
such a
whatever."
bloody Caribbean thing, right? Like even at a family function for me, like I'm Guyanese, my mom's Guyanese, dad's Indian, but it's like, oh yeah, you're rich, you got a lot of money, so you must be doing. But it's such a stupid thing in our culture. I think it's
Yeah.
just automatically assuming that you're a real estate agent, so you got money,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's so stupid. So now, okay, let's shift gears. So you're a family person.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
Okay,
Two kids.
I have a son. I have my
Okay.
son. And through my partner, I guess you could say like a stepdaughter. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
Yeah.
No
And
awkwardness here. Just say it as it
it's
is.
kind of
Don't
putting
worry.
me on the spot. And he has three other children, and we're just, yeah, yeah. So, I'm all
Okay.
for the kids, all for the kids, all for the family. Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on that. Honestly, someone like you, right? And the point I was getting at, that someone like you managed to fit it all together. You piece all together. I see a lot of single moms in real estate that
Yeah.
are struggling, but they still do it. One of my other clients had 7 kids that she's mining on her own, right? So
Yeah.
how do you do that? Like, how do you keep a balance with everything that you have going on?
You know what? It is not easy. It is not easy at all. And you don't sleep.
Why do you need sleep? Not just
Just I take naps every 2 or 3 days. And it's interesting, and I'm like trying to I think I've made my peace. I had to do some things to make my peace with it.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier on, it was just me and my son. And I would tell people, hey, like if you're working with me, you're going to meet my son at some point. He's going to be coming to showings and he's going to have his iPad. Like he's cool. He's been
Yeah.
doing this ever since he was born. So he understands the industry. He might help show you the property and tell you what he thinks of it.
You
You know,
write
take
your
his,
offers for you
yeah,
eventually.
absolutely. I think just incorporating the kids into it has been really cool because like my son has a house. So that was something that's like generational
Nice.
wealth and
Yeah.
an understanding of investing and having something to give and opening our minds with like all that kind of stuff is just it's just part of who we are and what we talk about. So the kids know about the Airbnbs and how to function. Guests are coming, and when mommy's on the phone doing appointments, you already know where you need to be and what you need to
Wow.
do and what you can't do. Like
Yeah. I
so
love that.
yeah, it's just it was a part of just getting that understanding, and he's so good because it's just how it is. And I was talking with we did a sip and paint for some of our
Okay.
investors in Calgary. We did it on Friday, and I was chatting with another lady there who also is a single mother, and we're like, yeah, the kids like they just understand because they've just been with us the whole journey, you know? So I thank God every day. My son is like an angel. He's so sweet. He's so, so good. And he just understands when mommy's working. It's just part of what it is. And I used to feel some guilt about it for sure. Like
Yeah.
maybe some other kids might have had some different experiences, right? Because he after daycare or after work or whatever, he's working,
Good mom.
you know?
Yeah.
So it was or he's in the car with me driving up and down for hours and hours and hours before he was
Yeah.
in daycare and stuff. So I used to feel guilt about it, but like I said, I just had to understand that I'm doing my best that I can and I'm doing this for us and for our future. And I didn't just talk it, I actually put it into place like I
That's it.
said, and he has that to start his business or to pay for school if he chooses to go to school, or he's just like I said, just understanding about real estate investing. Me and his dad say, maybe probably he'll be a developer at some point when he gets there.
Yeah.
He loves building, and
I
we're involve him in the industry. So
love
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Stephanie, you're such an inspiration. Honestly, the more and more I learn about you, and I just kind of like, hey, like you need to be on this podcast. For some reason, I just kind of connected with you. So that is super cool. So you started to instill these skills, these learnings into your kid, your son, from an early age.
yeah,
By default, he had to be with you. First of
pretty
all, you didn't have a choice, right?
yes,
We're gonna drop him, go to a babysitter, and that costs money, right? So
yeah,
everything
that's right.
freaking costs money. So let's be real. Like the struggle is real for a lot of
Yeah,
us out there, right? So
yep.
I'm glad. So that's kind of how you manage your time. That's how you did it. And then now going shifting gears again, you got all this good stuff going on. I know, like you're getting into you have a meditation center. Talk to me a little bit about your plans now. Where's the
Okay.
future?
All right. So there's lots. When people, so many
We
times
got time. We got time. Don't worry.
people are like, "What do you do?"
Yeah, yeah.
So it took me a couple years, but I made a concept and here it is. Okay.
Okay.
So the company, I always use my hashtag, it's health, wealth, and real estate. And
Okay.
where that comes from is my health background. You always hear health is wealth for one. That's just, straight translation there. But
Yeah.
I found that within my yoga community, my meditation community, we want to send good vibes, we want peace on the earth, we hug trees, like all that good stuff,
Yeah.
meditating, all that peaceful, yeah. But as much as we want to help and save the world and feed hungry people, that actually takes money, right? So I like
Yeah.
I used to go to Haiti. I've done all of that kind of work and I love it. I'm so passionate about it. But when I'm there, I'm like, we need to give more. Like we need to instill an understanding of like business and finances to start to see some transformation. I believe that that money is like an energy. It's something that's powerful. It's just something that provides a solution. It's a resource. So, when it comes to mindset that we have around finances, I think a lot of us can remain stuck as in terms of finances because we have those negative concepts like money is the root of all evil, or like rich
Yes.
people are
Yes.
bad people and that kind of stuff. So just from like that spiritually grounded kind of consciousness, I just had to like shift it and realize that we do need money, we do need power, we need access to these things to to make an impactful change. Meditation is very important. Send the good vibes. I'm all about the good vibes,
Love it.
but
Love
I
it.
want to be able to put some money on it and make a difference, right? On the
That's
other side, as I got into more and more business, and I do want to talk about something else after I said I was going to talk about it, but
on
yeah,
recording or off recording.
on
Just
recording, we'll do it,
please
yeah.
give it all right now.
Yeah, on that side, like realtors are one of the highest professionals to get like heart attacks, and like people are just,
Oh,
yeah, people are stressed when you're in finances and sales. It's a very stressful industry,
yeah.
and people are into all kinds of stuff to try to manage the stress and perform and be up all night and all these things, right? And I'm like, you're lacking some of the balance that we have on the other side, and I just felt like we needed to make that connection. So I feel like I'm here
Yes.
to bridge the gap, and people who don't get it, that's okay. I don't care. I like I do my yoga and my business heels with my blazer. Like I it's all of
No
that, right? So,
way. You gotta share a photo,
I've got
please, on
video.
a video. Okay.
So yeah, that's really where it comes together. In my business before, I used to do events like self-love events and all this stuff around health and fitness. So now I still run events, but I'm just try to mesh it. We'll get together and we'll have a yoga class and we'll talk about self-worth. But we'll tap in the business side of things and we'll talk about money mindset, and we'll have sip and paints, which are fun, but we're going to talk about
Nice.
investing in Calgary while we do it. It's just yeah, it's just like bringing it all together, because I do think it's very intertwined. So that's my health, wealth, and real estate. And I say we're having abundance in our mind. So our mindset is healthy. We have to have the right mindset as a foundation to be successful in our mind and our body. We have to have wellness. We have to be healthy to enjoy our wealth, right? And the things that we're building, and to have the vitality to persevere, and then money and bank account, abundance in mind, body, and bank account. So that's my thing. That's how I bring it all together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? That's a perfect balance though. If you really think
Yes.
about it, because most people struggle. If you're a real estate agent, you're probably not healthy to the point where you should want to be, because you're on the road eating
Yeah.
junk all the time if you're super busy.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect tie-in. So for anyone watching this right now, like, you found your hobby, you found your kind of inner desire to become more
Yeah.
on this earth, if you will, because I do have a spiritual background myself, so you're kind of hitting me all my little fun
Oh,
spots right now.
thanks.
So you found that. So how does someone find that with busy life, with finance, with all that struggle that we have, and then being a person of color as well, like how do we find that and
Yeah.
make it make it our own?
I think we just get lost. I think as people, we just lose ourselves in trying to please others, and trying to live up to certain standards, pressures as a single mother. What does that mean to be a mom? Like all these ideals that you have to say. What does it mean to be successful? And I think you just have to wipe away all of that stuff. You really just have to dismiss it and think, what does it mean to me to be a mom, and how can I be the best mom I can be? What does it mean to me to serve my church and serve my community, or make a difference in this world? What can I do? I can't save an entire country, but I can go and I can, sponsor a few children to be able to go to
Yes.
school. Like you just have to put things into perspective and be true to who you are. And there have certainly been times in my life when I've been out of balance, and being out of balance is when I've been unhappy.
That
So when
is
I try to deny a part of me, if I try to deny my spirituality, I don't feel fulfilled. If I'm not coaching and meditating and, teaching yoga
yes.
classes, and which we have a yoga retreat coming up in Costa Rica in August. If
Yes,
I'm
we'll
not
share that.
if I'm
No,
not
we'll
if
definitely
I'm not
share that. Yeah.
cool, thank you, thank you. Yeah, if I'm not doing these things, then I'm not me. I'm not representing myself, and I think we suffer for that. So I would just encourage people, like I said before too, and all of it is to just find your grounding, find what makes you
Yeah.
feel peaceful, find what makes you feel powerful, tap into that as well, and be that
Yeah.
unapologetically.
That's so important. And we don't even spend enough time on that at all,
Yeah.
in our profession. So I think thanks for touching on that, Stephanie. So we'll just kind of wrap up. So where do people find you on social media? Like, what's your handle? Where do people find you?
I'm all over social media.
Okay.
Steph Lowe. So I'm on Facebook, and people are like, "Oh my God, your face again." So yeah. So I'm on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook, sharing stories and pictures and videos and low deposit homes and my
Yes.
new listings and all that stuff. So very active there. On Instagram, you can find me as Stephanie underscore Lowe underscore realtor. So I
Perfect.
have a channel specific for real estate. Where I'm very focused there. And again, it's just like educating people, letting them know about upcoming events and stuff that we have. And then I have a more personal, I don't know if it's personal, but it's like my more yoga-esque channel where you'll find me in my heels doing yoga. That is
Yes.
my
Where's that?
fitness with Steffa, and that is
Fitness
on
with
Instagram.
Steph.
Steffa. Yeah,
Okay,
that's on.
great. Yeah, because I think a lot of viewers right now, when they watch this, they're gonna be like, "Hey, how do I sign up?" So that's how they find you. Perfect. That's
Yeah.
great. So yeah, thanks for coming on this podcast, Stephanie. Like you are truly, like I said again, an inspiration. Anyone watching this podcast, just pull from everything that she just said, where her story is, her journey, the struggles that she's been through. You're not alone, right? So reach out to Stephanie, reach out to myself. If there's any chats that you're having right now, how to kind of move your business forward, but not only from a business perspective, but health, wealth, vitality, mindset. How do you do all that? So, Stephanie, I'm sure you don't mind if people are DMing you and reaching out
Yeah.
to you and having chats,
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Oh, well, yeah, for sure, for sure. I'll also give my WhatsApp. I have a WhatsApp broadcast list as well where I
Okay.
just share all these things and events. So it's 416-818-7837. And you can text me and I just add you to my broadcast list and you'll like see of different opportunities and whatnot that's coming up. We really try to focus every month on doing some sort of webinar or get together where it's like really education based. Something that we're getting into as well, like co-ownership is a big thing to talk about in
Love
our
it.
community. Like open your mind.
Yes, yes,
Buying investment properties, like sometimes folks don't want the, like if I can't buy like my dream home, then I don't want to buy real estate. And I'm like, no, you're missing such a key thing. It's building, it's progress, it's leverage. So we talk
yes.
about that. We also talk about how to make money in different avenues of real estate. So one is like private lending and how to like understand that as well. That's one story. I'll give it quickly. Do I have 2 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Hit it. Go for it. I
Yeah.
love it.
So
I love it when there's more. I just love it when there's more. Go ahead.
so early on in my career, this is like one of the learning things too. I had a friend. He was a mortgage broker, and we used to do these open houses together. Again, like I
Yeah.
said, very pure, innocent, like heart-centered stuff. And like people would come and we would really say like this work is our ministry and we would pray with our clients like we're in it. And it's a tough industry. Like I said, like people aren't
Oh yeah.
always
Oh
right? And
yeah.
it takes a lot of perseverance because yeah, you're not getting paid every month regularly every few weeks. It's just not what it is. And so something that we said we were going to do was someday we wanted to get into private lending. Like we don't want to be borrowers, but we want to be lenders. Like that was a really
Yes.
important thing we wanted to step into. That's in the Bible. So we he ended up at some point, which was really really sad. It was a huge moment for me. He ended up taking his life, and
Mhm.
I don't know all the details behind it, but it was just a real big eye opener for me. Like I said, in this industry of the stress that we face, the pressures from our family, image wise, who you have to be and how you have to show up, all those things are something you have to battle against. And if you're not well supported and you're not well grounded, then it's really tough. It's really tough, right? So this year was finally my year to step into that as a private lender and to leverage now the finances and wealth that I've grown through real estate to still
Yeah.
expand and just do it in another way. And I feel again people have so much fears to step into new avenues, but there's so many different avenues to grow, right?
Yes.
Through real estate and investing. So we try to talk about these things. So yeah, I just wanted to like say that. So when I got into my private lending, I was like, I'm doing this for you. Like this is for us. We made it here.
That is
There's still
so
more to
yeah.
go, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, you know what? You are a perfect example of just be inspirational and use your experiences in your life to change other people's lives, right? It's
Yeah.
not about just chasing the deals because we got so caught up in, oh, what's the next deal? What's the next deal? What's the next deal? We're not
Mhm.
taking care of our health. We're not taking care of our mindset. We're not even giving back to our community, but you are doing everything. So thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you for that, Stephanie. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. So you guys heard it right here, Stephanie Lowe. Reach out to her on social media, connect with her. She'd love to probably give you some meditation and classes and start enlightening you further. Thanks for being on the podcast, Stephanie. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great to chat.
No problem. Take care. Talk to you.